Hey everyone, let's go ahead and kick things off real quick. I'm Tony Dillon, and this is my grad assistant Ray, and she's actually going to be helping out on occasion. I'll have her sit in the back for today, but she's helping out with some of the handouts and so forth. So I just want to kick things off just to make you aware of what's going on. But who knows what iTech 301 is, just in general, or from your friends who you've talked to? Go ahead.
Intern prep class.
Correct. Yeah. Anyone else want to chime in? Anyone talk to their friends? Nothing? Okay. So iTech 301 is a seminar class where we actually focus on employability skills, how to get a job in the IT market. So what I'm going to actually try to do is give you this opportunity to find jobs in this classroom. So what I did was I created a course that behind the scenes, you're getting everything ready from a professional standpoint, probably for the rest of your life, whether it's a resume, cover letters, thank you letters, social media, LinkedIn, all these different things. We're going to have all of that behind the scenes, but every day when you come in here, I'm going to have recruiters recruiting you. So I have already told them what your skill sets are. A lot of you're all IT majors. We know most of your junior seniors all searching for the same thing. But I've told them that you have networking skills, cybersecurity skills, programming skills. And so they're going to come in here and recruit each day instead of you having to dress up in a suit and tie and go to the job fair. And you guys get to pick their brains. And so they'll come in and talk about their companies. They'll tell you what they're looking for. And if you like what they're having to say, then you get to pick their brains. Okay. Now, what's sort of odd is this class has 60 students in it, and there's not 60 in here right now. And I do take attendance every day because if I've invited all these CEOs, CIOs, and all these important people, basically, they're here for you. I want you to be here for them. Okay. So that's sort of what we're doing right now. So just each day I'll have an update. I'll cover what we're trying to do. Also, to get you guys used to speaking in front of the class or in front of the public, I'll have you do guest introductions so you can prepare and get in front of the class and do that. That's, again, some things that you need to work on. Just as an update real quick before I switch it over, what they're picking up here is just new handouts. On this side of the table are all the guest speakers that's coming in that's agreed to come in to recruit this semester. Some of them are professional development where they'll talk about what to do with resumes or cover letters, or they'll come in for other purposes to get you riled up and how to be a leader in the IT workforce, stuff like that. So every day it's going to be a little bit different. So like right now for the month of August, I got Ty Graham, who's a new motivational speaker. She's supposed to come in and kick things off. She just started this company and she wants to be the first one to come in. And so McKinnon's going to do introductions on that. And then Scout, the new company that's building up in Blythewood with hundreds of jobs. They're going to be the second one coming in to recruit. Bernard, you'll be introducing them, so you'll need to look them up. Then I have a professional development, graduation with leadership distinction. By taking this class and my internship course, you've pretty much covered everything that you want, but then you have to build a website and reflect on what you experienced in this course and the internship. And you can graduate with honors, like with a cord, and it'll be on your diploma that you graduated with leadership distinction. And then Microsoft is coming in to recruit, and then Jasmine, you'll be doing that one as well. So every day is going to be the same kind of layout, same kind of thing going on. Currently, what happens is companies send me emails and notifications saying, okay, we need an intern. So right now, Lexington County Schools, #1, needs 2 or 3 interns. If you're wanting to look for jobs with them, Right Dose is a company here, really between here and Blythewood, looking for a company. They actually do pharmaceutical technology. And the CIO, you would be working with the CIO up there. John Miller is his name. But everything happens there. Now, also, I'll have this update like this every time, but homework. I mentioned that tonight the elevator pitch is due on Monday night, but also I said I want to get to know who you are. with 60 students in here, it's going to be hard to just talk to each of you and find out what your background is and what your interest is, where you're from, and this and that. So that's why I sort of just said, fill out a paragraph, tell me who you are, and so forth. And we'll get into that a little bit more. But what happens is when you're doing an introduction, you want to tell them about your technical skills, but also some of your other interests. And what I mean by that is you may find someone that is interested in fishing, or someone that's interested in music or sports or whatever it is that you might have this beside that. It's like, how do you chime in and hook them into a conversation that's not even related to technology, but another interest? Maybe it's their kids, maybe it's their family, it's about travel. So I don't want to have all of you say, hey, nice tie or nice suit or any of that. That's a nice compliment, but how do you connect with that person to let them talk to you a little bit more? And so those are the kind of things that I want you to learn from how to network. Just to give you an example, I had a student sitting over here who was on the Bass Pro fishing team. And the speaker started talking about that they went fishing and they love fishing and yada, yada, yada. And afterward, they came up and just started talking about fishing, and they gave him the job. It wasn't even about the skills, because they knew that all of you had the same skills, but it's like they had something else in common. And so those are the kind of things. Also, the DOIT, the company, the people on campus that does the help desk and all the stuff that helps the faculty and professors. If you want a job, they were posting all of those jobs on Handshake, okay? So just be on the lookout for that. You can also look on Indeed or ONET and so forth. So that's the kind of stuff that I'll be doing there, okay? So what I would like you to do, just as a point of reference, and I got some notes here. Each day, sign in. I'll keep track of that. That it's a requirement. I want you to sign in, and that way I'll know who's here. It's 10 points out of the class. But also each week we'll have an assignment due on Monday night. So just dedicate Monday. Monday night, you'll have to turn in an assignment. I'll post it 10 days in advance. You'll have to have it every Monday throughout the entire semester. So week 1 is the elevator pitch. Week 2 be the resume. Week 3 be something else. But we'll just keep going on and on and on. The other thing is, I dressed up for you today just because this is what I want you to look like when you go to the job fair. The job fair is September 17th. And so what I need you to do is actually start looking for outfits, clothes. Ladies, you find your business outfits as well. But basically, I'm preparing you to get ready for the job fair as well as the people coming in here, okay? Classes do start at 10:40. And I'll start at 10:40 every time. So be here. It'll be rude if my guest speakers are already talking. And I got a vice president or CEO in here, and you guys are walking in late. Okay, so make sure you're here ahead of time. And we'll go for the entire time. The way I do it is I'll lay out, say about 10 minutes for sorry about that. It'd be 10:50, my apologies. Sorry, I'm a little early. But what's going to happen is we're going to roll out the updates, then 30 minutes of presentation time for the guest speakers. And then after that, we're going to actually do 10 minutes of Q&A. And the Q&A is actually going to be more of an in-class thing, so everyone can do it. In case you don't want to raise your hand, you'll hear what others have to say. But also we'll have sidebars. If you want to give them a resume, shake their hand, get to know them. If there's a class afterwards, then you're going to have to actually go and do something outside in the hallway, because we'll have to filter out and filter back in. Okay. So I do apologize. I started early. That was my bad. I looked at the clock wrong. So, but I just want to give you a heads up on that. So first impressions, it takes about 3 to 5 seconds for a first impression. And so by dressing up at the job fair, that's the first impression, then your resume, and then how you actually carry yourself in the interviews or the discussion. So with it just being really 3 weeks away, I'm going to push you really hard right now to try to get ready for that job fair. There's about 200 vendors there. I'll try to sort some of those out so you can hit the right ones right away instead of just wandering around. But they're here to recruit, but they're going to have everyone from the College of Engineering Computing, including computer science, CIS, computer engineering, all these different people. And we're the only department that requires you to do this course and an internship before you graduate. So that's why they're all willing to come in here and speak to you. So just want you to be aware of that. Let's see. Some other things I want to just go into real quick. So what this course is going to actually do is teach you the employability skills, the soft skills, the networking skills, and so forth to get a job in an IT career. So an IT career, what's the difference between a job and a career? Anyone? Go ahead. It's somewhere where you can stay for a long time, or you can build yourself and climb the ladder, try to move up from say an entry-level job to middle management and so forth. So what happens is, that's why I put this chart up here. Say you're in your 20s, okay, you're just starting out. You try to peak around 40 and try to finish around 60, right? We all want, is that about right? So what happens is, when you start talking to people and they say, where do you want to be in 5 years? Do you have an answer for that already? No? Haven't thought about it? Well, when they ask you that question when you're young, if you say, hey, I want to be a supervisor, management, team lead, then they're going to put you on that management track. Okay. And so you'll say, I want to be a team leader in 5 years, or I want to be in management by 5 years. So each time they're asking you, you're going to take different professional development instead of technical training. If you say, I just love working on the network, pulling wire, this and that, then all of a sudden what happens is they're going to keep you as the busy bee. You're the one doing all the busy work, okay? So that's the kind of stuff that you need to worry about. So what happens is, if you're at 25, you might want to say, I want to be a team leader by 25. You might want to be, say, mid-management, okay, by 30. Upper management by 35. And then the CIO, okay? So that's the way people that are in management progress, okay? And then all of a sudden, you start to ride that on out. So you'll ride it down here. Usually about 50, they start weeding people out. Just be aware of that. And real big world companies, all my friends were let go by 50. Because now you're asking for 100, 150,000 plus bonuses, signing all this stuff. He said, I can go and start over. And so what happens is they start just saying, you got 6 weeks vacation, you got 150,000, we're just go somewhere else. And so that happens to a lot of times. And so I want you to be aware of that, because once you peak out, then you ride it for a little bit. And then down here, this is when you're shooting for retirement between 55 and 60. And then you get back to the community or whatever, as long as you want to work. I'm already past the 60 line. So I'm down here, and that's why I'm giving back, telling you what I experienced in life and so forth. And that's why I'm here, is to show you what happened in the world of technology that I went through. And now I'm sharing that with you. Even though you can make big money, that train only lasts forever. It doesn't go till 60. It only lasts maybe up to 40. And then all of a sudden you got to start shopping. Okay. So just want you to be aware of that. Let's see, what else? So first impressions, and make sure you wear nice clothing, not too much jewelry, not too much cologne, all of these different things and so forth. Okay. So let's go ahead and flip this over, and I'm going to do a little intro about myself so you know who I am. Okay. I'm a senior clinical instructor. I'm also the director of internships. I actually have the dean and all the other colleges, mechanical engineering. I just talked to biomed. They're not wanting to meet with me on Monday. They want me to start trying to do what I'm doing for you the rest of the semester, working with other students outside of the classroom. But I also have SC State, Clemson, all of these others saying, how we do build this IT pipeline. And then you're saying, well, it's simple. You just get someone to help you out. Well, what happens is business and industry right now can't find young talent. You guys have the new knowledge, the creative brain, and a lower paycheck. And that's what they're sort of looking for. Right now, they're just going to other companies and stealing other people for $10,000 raises and say, okay, we found someone to take over and do this, but there's a shortage of IT people. Since I've been promoting this for the last 5-10 years, they're coming to me now. And that's why there's so many guest speakers wanting to get in. I got a wait list of 5 to 10 companies already, and we just started day one. But they're wanting to come in, and we're starting out with Scout and Microsoft. See what I'm saying? They're here to talk to you guys. And so you guys have to make a big, good impression and so forth. I told them you want to be in ball caps, t-shirts, shorts. They said, we just need IT kids. And so, also, what is your worth? Do you know how much money are you worth right now? Do you know? Go ahead. 0. No, you're worth more than that. How much could you ask for if you went out and got a job right now? In Columbia.
18 an hour.
16 an hour. Okay. $55,000. He's at an entry level. Good. Okay. Anyone else? Your value right now, as you sit here, okay, you would be considered a technical engineer. Use those verbs, those nouns. But what happens is all my students in the last class are making between 20 and 40 bucks an hour. In fact, I had one make 45 an hour at the high. So those are the kind of jobs that they're coming in here offering. So that's as an intern. If you went out, you would actually, in Columbia, that make between 60 and 65. Up in Charlotte, you're going to be 70, 75. Go up to Northeast, you make 80, 85, right out of the classroom here, okay? But you got to know what your numbers are. And I'm going to teach you guys what your numbers are and what you should. And don't let them lowball you, okay? So you guys have these skills, and that's why I'm here, is to tell you what you're worth. A lot of you are saying, I don't know that answer, okay? You don't know where you want to be in management or technical, and so all my students, after I coach them, they call me back, say, I'm already in 6 figures in year 2. I'm like, great. But that's what we want. And we want this company to start coming in. No other colleges offer this, so they can't come in. They just have to wait till a resume arrives from Clemson or College of Charleston. But that's why they're knocking down the door. Like, I got 60 kids in here right now that want an IT job, and I can get them for 60, 65,000. And that's why they're here. Okay. So those are the kind of things that I want you to get excited about, and so forth. Going back to me, home state, I'm from Ohio, lived in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. My background's in business marketing, finance, and technology. My current role, I teach 301, 495, and 748. That's what they've asked me to do, and so that's what I'm doing. Let me find my clicker here real quick. So my past job, I used to work at the Department of Education. I was over all the technology. Actually, I was over all the business marketing, finance, and technology courses. So everything that you learned in middle schools and high schools in the state of South Carolina, I was in charge of. How many people from South Carolina? Yep. So if you took any Cisco networking classes, I created that for 70 high schools in the state. The Oracle database, 40 high schools in the state. And all the security programs that you have as well that's in the state. Okay. So whether you did A+, Net+, Security+, CCNA, you okay, bud? Okay. So all of those are different things, but I also approved all the computers, all the technology purchases, about 1,200 teachers, 140,000 students across the state. I also helped out with civil rights and accessibility, all the federal regulation, and I also did the national career clusters. So what I mean by the national career clusters, do you remember in middle school and high school, you had to pick a path or a cluster? Those in South Carolina, I created that for the nation. Okay, and then I rolled it out, and the state of South Carolina adopted it, some other states adopted it, but I did that through the Washington DC office. So sort of neat. I also worked for Text Help Systems out of Ireland. I was in Antrim, Ireland, working and supported the whole Southeast United States. And so I was doing speech enabling software, where sort of like Dragon software back in the day, but this was before Dragon. So Dragon would come and talk to me, but we created ebooks. So all the speaking books back in the day, that's what I was doing and traveling around, making things happen like that. I also work for ETS, which is your company that creates that SAT and all of the testing stuff. So I traveled around the nation. I was in charge of selling assessments to all the schools and all the students who took those and helped them prepare for that. And so I helped out with other technologies like Discourse. And then I also worked for International Thompson Publishing, which I was a sales rep, and I was doing all the textbooks that you use in your classes. So I knew all the vendors that sold the books to your professors, and I was friends with them, and back along my colleagues were some of the VPs, and I knew the publishers. So it made it really nice that I knew all the professors before I even took this job, because I did that way back when I was a little older. So, and then I also worked for Scholastic doing technology for reading in the state of Florida. And so I did that for a while. So I've been all around, helped out, taught at Greenville Tech, taught at Greenville High School. Anyone from Greenville area? Okay, so did you go to Greenville High? No? Okay, which school? Malden? Okay, so I was up that way, but just start off, like I was saying, I've already talked about first impressions. Start off, takes 3 to 5 seconds to make a good impression. You also want to be on time, and be yourself, but be at ease and present yourself appropriately. I did start a little bit early today. I apologize, but try to be here on time. All these guest speakers will be here ready to start, and they only got 30 minutes to tell their story and recruit you. Also, make sure you smile when you talk to them, be open, be confident. That's why I'm going to have you do guest introductions. They want to see if you can present. So those who are connecting, like when Scout comes in or Microsoft, reach out to them in LinkedIn, say, hey, I'm doing guest introduction. Right then, they know that you're doing it. I've already told them. And so they'll be expecting you to reach out to them if you want to. And then that's a foot in the door. Say, hey, I'd love to apply since I'm already touching base with you. You got the name of the person coming in recruiting. So you're a step ahead of them. Okay. But talking goes a long way. I like to talk a lot. I know a lot of people in engineering computing are more introverted. They don't like to talk a lot. But if you are outspoken, you like to talk, get into technical sales. Technical sales makes a lot of money. Not only is the salary probably around 80,000, but then you can double that based on commissions and sales. So, and you get to travel the world. I've been all over the place. So, also be positive, be courteous, be attentive. And then let's just talk about the syllabus real quick before I get to know you a little bit. So in the syllabus, it's all posted online in Blackboard. I've got everything ready for you. But the graduation with leadership distinction, I told you about that. If you want more information, they will be coming in next week. But this is their little handout that you can take a look at and sign up for some meetings with them. But they'll be coming in. But you knocked out everything already. By being in this class and being in an internship, now you just have to document it on a website and reflect on what you learned in this class as well as what you learned on the job. And that's it. I mean, and you all know how to make a website, so it's not hard. Maybe it's hard for the business students, but this is the campus-wide thing, and you guys can do that for me. Let's see. About the course, these are the outcomes. I'm not going to cover all this, but I'm going to talk about the job skills that you need. We've done that a little bit. The career path, since I helped create the career clusters, you're already on a path. I know where you're heading. But, again, you need to know where you're headed. Whether, like in the career cluster thing, I'm an education cluster major. You're IT or technology cluster major. I could have done everything up to being a president with a focus on education, okay? But I could have started as a substitute teacher, then a teacher, a principal, administrator, educational sales, which I did, educational administration, being a professor. I stayed in the educational realm, okay? You guys are going to be in the technology realm, but where do you want to be in that realm, okay? So let me ask you this. How many people, and I'm just picking your brains real quick, how many people are interested in networking? Okay, how many is interested in security? Okay, databases, project management, programming, UI, UX. Know what that is? Yeah, some of them. So there's a ton of things that you guys have learned. The question is, when they come in, you saw that networking had the most hands, okay? When they're looking for someone in networking, now you're competing against everyone in here with their hands up. And they all took the same class from the same professor. So now you gotta, how do you sell yourself? Because they know the same thing you know. And so now it's really about you and how you relate, okay? Come on in. Where do you want to go? Yeah, we'll find your spot. Okay. Yeah, if you can sit right there, we'll find your spot the next time. Okay, I'll move some stuff around. Thank you. So that's what we'll try to do. You know, you have to sell yourself now because all of you have the same skills. There might be a focus that say, oh, okay, I'm going to do this, I'll do that. Now, when I bring these companies in, though, we're going to focus on a lot of different things. The guest speakers are coming from, you know, all the big IT companies, but we also have sectors that you haven't heard of. I got TMT Transportation that comes in. They're down by the football coliseum. They opened up their trucking company. It's a logistics company. Don't want to work for a trucking company. That entire building is IT people, and they track where the load's going, how fast the driver's going, when they have to be there, what roads are closed. They're tracking speed, they're tracking everything through technology. So if they don't get the stuff there on time, then they can't unload it, and it could be perishable and all these different things. Or if there's a wreck, then what do they do? And so forth. But you'll see these black truck flatbeds driving around campus all the time. So student drivers, they're training them, and then the technology stuff here. They're based out of Iowa. They have their own jet, and they'll fly in that morning to talk to you. So that recruiter is really neat because it's like they have their own jet to come to talk to you, and they'll say, "Well, I'm in Columbia this morning. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida in the afternoon, and then I got to head back in the morning." And I'm like, "Yeah," and that's just for you guys, okay? So those are the kind of things. Even though it's a trucking company, it's big business. It's $1 million. They said they spend $110,000 for each truck, and they buy about 1,000 trucks a year. And so just that alone, buying the truck, let alone how much money they're okay. About the course, like I said, I have professional development activities and speakers coming in. I'll have regular homework, you know, just trying to get you ready for the job fair and so forth. The internship job proposal, all of you have to have an internship to graduate. So I'm going to ask, who did you land it with? I don't play matchmaker. I actually just, I bring the parties together, and then you have to figure that out, okay? If they only, and I hate to say it, most of the companies only have 1 or 2 positions. Blue Cross Blue Shield usually has 15 to 20. They're the big ones that hire the most out of the class. But, you know, 15 to 20 slots, that still leaves, you know, 2/3 of you without a job. So the rest of them that's coming in, even though you say, I got an interview with Scout or Microsoft, and they're only taking 2 from South Carolina because they're taking 2 from every university in the country. What happens is, okay, we got the 2 from South Carolina, that's 1. You have to step up, even though they interview 5 of you. you still may not make it through to the top 1 or 2 of them. And that's so you have to be on your game, okay? Final exams, 20%. Well, the final exam's actually going to be, what did the company say? What were they looking for? Who are they? It's about being here. If you're here, final exam shouldn't be that hard, okay? And then attendance is 10%. Since I've invited all of them here, I want you to. And so if you lose 10% of your grade, already you're at a B. So what happens is, if you look at this, how easy is my class? I would say it's not hard. I'll push you. Most students get A's and B's. Can you fail? I always have 3 or 4 students that fail every semester. But they don't show up, they don't participate, they don't get a job. So it just deems you all around, and then you're not ready, and you say, oh, I don't even have a job and I can't graduate. And I've had students, I know of 2 that never graduated because they couldn't get the job. And if you can't get the job, you can't graduate. Okay, so that's why I'm pushing you. I've had some that had to delay graduation for a year or 2 because they couldn't push themselves to do that. So it's all on you to get that job. And even though you're close, you have to land it. And so that's what I'm just trying to say. Regular graded scale, 90 to 100, 80 to 90, so forth. Not real hard. Be professional, inline, online. The reason I put online, if you're sick, email me. I'll actually give you a Zoom link. You come in and be sick. I don't want you to be sick in the classroom, but that way you're not missing out. Just so you're aware, I do have an online only section. Those students who are only online, they're not allowed on campus. They may Zoom in as well, but sometimes I have to just say, it's up to them what they do. They're online students, so it's a little bit different. Let's see. Talking about attendance, we already did that. Technical skills, you're all technically proficient. Academic integrity, no cheating. Students with disabilities, okay? If you need anything, just talk to me, talk to disability services. Also, for testing and so forth, I usually have a live final exam. That's the only test that I'll have, other than the Monday assignment. So every Monday you'll have that assignment, but the final exam, again, it's not terribly hard unless you miss class and you just say, I don't remember that guest speaker. It's all about what they had to say. If you need help, just reach out to me, email or phone. I stay pretty connected. And these are the guest speakers coming in. So like I said, I've listed them all on the website as well, I believe, but it's the top ones. You got Scout coming in, Microsoft, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Boom. Okay. Blue Cross Blue Shield's hiring 10, 15 of you. So it's going to happen quick and fast. And we're throwing in some professional development right in there. You'll see CEC Career Center resume. They're going to try to get that resume ready before we go to the job fair. Job fair is right here on September 17th. So things are happening real fast. Okay. And so I just want you to be aware. Okay. But some of these companies you've never heard of, but once you sit here, you say, that sounds really interesting. That's sort of neat. You'll never know that they need technology in agriculture, technology in trucking, technology like Wright goes to the pharmaceutical company. But all these different companies. So also, all of these papers up here are the old documents. Those were the new ones that you all picked up. These old documents still have relevant information. So like, I have Wright goes up here. I have the FBI. I have Blue Cross Blue Shield, Department of Revenue, Michelin, Sunoco, Scout. These are all the contacts and how to apply from last semester, but it's still relevant. You can pick it up if you want. You can jump the gun because you know they're coming in. And you just say, hey, I jumped the gun. I already applied. And I got last semester. Okay. So again, you're competing against your classmates. And that's why I'm just telling you, the harder you work, the better you land. You may get the $40 an hour job versus $20 an hour job. Okay. I do accept like if you need to work for a nonprofit for free, we do have some grants that's available. And I'll talk about that maybe next class. Where we can get you $3,000 stipend if you volunteer your services to a nonprofit, then the grant will pay you in lieu of them paying you, okay? So, so don't always go after just the company. If you want to help a nonprofit or a church or something, then we try to find you money at different points, okay? Okay, some of you have already brought up to me, can we do research? And you can also do that, okay? So, but it's gotta be IT related. So these are some of the other companies, Nywick, I don't know if you know who Nywick is, but they're coming to recruit, they used to be Spaywar. They are the cybersecurity people for the Navy, they protect the whole Eastern Seaboard. So, they're coming in, they want you as well, but I got Continental, Gemini, all these different companies coming. Okay? So does it get redundant? It does. But it becomes a pattern. You just know, okay, they're coming in, they're see if you're interested or not interested. If you're not interested, I'd rather see you open your laptop and work on something. But I do want you to be here. You never know if a motivational speaker gets you fired up, say, I want to do that, or you like that company, you just have to figure it out. But I'm not going to shoot you in the foot and say, I'm not interested, but I still want you, okay? So that's sort of what I want. Other information, the job fair is on the 17th from 12 to 4 in the Carolina Coliseum. Then there's an etiquette dinner that night with the companies. We actually will pay for your food. We just got to have you sign up. I had those forms up here. You can also go on Handshake and sign up. But we want you to come to dinner for free, 5:30 to 7:30, since you're already dressed up. Right afterwards, you go to dinner, sit down with the company, have dinner, talk more to them while you're having a free dinner. They teach you how to eat properly while you're talking business. It's sort of hard to do that sometimes. You get which fork you use, which knife, which, how, because they'll lay out the whole thing. And so it makes it really nice. We also have some professionally new workshops that follow up. So what I teach you in here may go so fast. The Career Center does these workshops where they can slow it down for you and talk to you, okay, at the library and so forth. And then there's also an all majors job fair in October. So the whole campus is invited, not just the CEC. And so that's over in the Russell House in case you are struggling to find an internship. And then November, we have another etiquette dinner that follows up with that. So just be aware that you're sitting in the catbird seat. You're getting the companies that want to hire first, especially those with security clearance, because it's like Nywick, FBI, stuff like that. They want to hire someone. What happens is they got to put you through the system as well. And they say, I'm picking you, but then you've got 3 months of follow-up, okay? So what happens is you may want to do something like that. And so if you're interested in that, I have connections all the way up to DISA, which is like the mothership of NSA, CIA, FBI, and all that. So you just tell me what you want. And that's why I need to get to know who you are. Once I get to know who you are, we can hone in on those skills and try to figure that out. So I want to know a little bit about you guys. I can't go through everyone in the whole class, but let's see. I'm just looking through what else. Let's see. There is a list of names I wrote down. Let me find it. Oh, where I put it. Yeah, down there. There's too many students based on how many speakers are coming in. So those who are doing introductions have to come up here. Those who I don't have a slot for yet, you'll be on deck if someone gets sick or something. But other than that, what I'm going to do is put you on the spot right now. So if I call your name, I just want you to tell me some of this and throw in some stuff so we can get to know you real quick. Peter Muller. Peter in here. Sure, go ahead.
So hello, I'm Peter. Peter Muller, yeah. I was born in Delaware, and I moved down here when I was 3, so I'm pretty much from South Carolina. I'd say my primary skill set, I took networking classes in high school, I have my network plus, so I'd say that's probably a strong set I have, as well as just like general like troubleshooting skills. And as far as aspirations, I'm not necessarily, I guess, super set on a future job outline. I'm still kind of exploring all the different avenues because there is so many. But I definitely do want to learn more in like networking and cybersecurity type of field. And to just have some like have an internship to like general IT stuff. But that wasn't so I'm something unique about myself.
Well, thank you. Thanks for kicking it off. Evan Page.
I'm Evan. I'm from Boston. And I mostly work with database stuff. And I'm really good at like building computers, working on everything with pulling data and stuff like that. Because this summer, every summer, I have a job with my mom, and we run part of the building. So like the whole thing behind the gun, that back like top of it, and most people in the future, I want to look at database, build database, so it's like general like concept stuff.
I'm good. Well, I need to piggyback on each of these. Welcome to South Carolina from Delaware, but taking a networking class, was that in high school?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, which school? Peterson, okay.
Over next to Spring.
Spring Hill. High school? Okay. So that's great. So I know all of those guys. So, and congrats on Charleston. So you know Nywick and the Google Center down there and all that?
My dad.
Yeah. So the way when we do these little introductions, even though some of you are going to email me them, the reason I'm asking it we all know the IT stuff. There might be a preference of like he wants databases, but it's fun to get to know like, oh, you've got family members that they were, they've been in class together with Netflix. And those are the things that stand out. And so I want you to listen to that so you can find those hooks that you can bring up and talk about. So all those are good things because then I can piggyback off that. Benjamin Thompson.
I'm from Somerville right now, but I lived all over because my dad was in the airport, so every 3 years I have my primary skill set. I would say I have like I'm not too sure about my aspiration right now, but it's really long.
I love bowling. What's your highest score? Congrats. My highest was like only like a 260, messed up there. Yeah. So I enjoyed it. What's your average?
Right now it's like
It's good.
I think for that
Yeah, I was at 180 and tried to do the club team at college and missed it by 1 thing. So I'm good. So I did the intramural and we won 3 years in a row, but that's good. So again, see, I hooked him and we just started talking. Jalen Gibson. Jalen.
I originally from Riverside, California. We moved to Grayville, California. My dad worked at Boys Random, where I got my primary skill set. Database right now. This kind of summer, I'm going to have 3 jobs working on websites for my friends. I don't know what, I go to the own field.
And- Oh, great. And Fluor does come in here and recruit. So my son's girlfriend works for Fluor. She's a nuclear engineer. So, but we had the IT people come in. So, but I used to live up there right near that. in Greenwood.
It's, you know, really.
Oh, Greenville's a nice area. I wish I kept my house. Small world, small world. Let's go to Bryson Peterson. So down in Aiken, are you wanting to work with the cyber group down there at Fort Gordon or at Fort Eisenhower?
I work with,
Okay. Good. So I know all the people at the Savannah River, they're coming in to recruit it. Yeah, so they're coming in as well as Savannah River National Lab we work with as well. That's the research side. Oh, okay. Thank you, thank you. Matt, Nathan Quick.
Hello, my name is Nathan Quick. I'm from Sumter, South Carolina, not too far from here. That's my primary skill set. I'm a little bit newer to the field, but I'm finding a bit of for innovation. From networking, cybersecurity, for me, but I'm still trying it out. For at first, for a dream job. Again, working field sometimes, it's not finding that skill set and it's that skill set, and working back with them. It's like, you know, it's trying to get back into it, but it's also on the school.
Is it classical or what kind of piano?
I think I like all about the word though. I like things that are tuned, but we like the idea that you do. Not for it, but it's fun to play. So, that's a love.
Good, I understand. Andrew Kane.
Um, do a lot of AV production, and production, pretty good job. I worked for Twitch this last summer, so something to do with production, mental, back end, pretty favorite thing is the actual, something about myself. I've written like, I can take so far, I got some military.
What part of Atlanta?
Wendell Park.
Okay. Well, welcome. Hayden Robinson.
Hello, my name is Hayden Robinson. I'm from Chapin, South Carolina. My primary skill set is heavily in networking. I was also in the same class with Peter, and we took we did the Net Plus certification, so I have mine. My aspiration for a future job a year ago, I probably would have told you network tech or network manager, but as I've been taking more classes in the course field for us, that has broadened widely. I really enjoy programming, so it's a little up in the air. And it's something unique about myself. I play in a band right now. I play drums.
Right, I was drumming. So yeah, I was in marching and concert band, and I had friends that played in bands. But I actually was more into percussion. I was drumming bugle corps as well. So I did all. Whether it was back then, it's sort of like quints now, but I was tritonus back then. But we played all everything and did all of that. So since you both went to school, did you guys come to this program because of Jorge and I coming to recruit you guys? Did it turn out well? So we recruit from their class around the state. So I just double check. Alexander Estrada. Alexander. Jalen Nestor. Michael Stallman. Hey.
Before my primary skill set was my current job that I had here, I worked with storage. Correct, and that's kind of all of the information, but we had access to what that. It's always the part that's something like stuff like that. As far as my aspiration and, in my opinion, as someone who lives in the home, I'm very passionate about children, protection of the house. And me and my older brother, who is also a people now. We want a podcast that we're going to all and kind of say our and every day kind of have a classroom. We like to sit down and look at different technology. And when we make some mistakes, we redevelop them to make them more successful. Companies don't think about accessibility first. When it comes to a lot of things, people tend to on the technical side, and that's kind of what I hope to do, is kind of help them go. Want to be like something so figure out things so that they think about accessibility first.
Wonderful. So, he brought up a lot of great things. In fact, I invited the accessibility office to speak to our class. So they're going to come here and talk about that. I used to work for an accessibility company out of Ireland. That was the speech enabling. That's why we created speech enabling for accessibility purposes. But when you get into 508 compliances and all these different things, it's really, can people see, or hear, the website that we create? And so they depend on what you guys have created, but if everyone can't see it or hear it, those are the different things. So, I appreciate you bringing up all that stuff. I know very well about accessibility and the restaurants in town. I know the CIO that's over there for the school district. So Tammy Hill is a friend of mine. I don't know if you know Tammy. Yeah. So, good. So, let's see, Kyla Holmes. Okay, my colleague Johnson.
My name is Malik. From here, like, probably 30 or 40. My primary skill is databases. So for aspiration to pick up anything involving databases, go over to like other things like database is pretty much like this one right now. And something unique about myself, actually get started.
Great. So, did you play in high school as well?
Oh, no, it's something recent. I decided to.
Okay. Joshua Doyen.
Good morning, y'all. I'm Joshua Dillon. Originally from around Central Maryland, but moved to Merle Inlet, South Carolina at the end of my freshman year here. My primary skill sets are mainly networking, which a lot of people have said, as well as hardware. So I love doing like the kind of general IT stuff that some people mentioned. With that being said, my aspiration for a future job would be doing large scale IT. My dad works to build F1 arcades. It's kind of like Top Golf, but with F1 simulators. And I've talked to their guys on the job site, and I think it's awesome what they do. They're on site doing the wiring and working with the simulators, as well as doing emails with people, getting on calls, and helping them with like their general IT. And something unique about me, well, not really unique, but more of a fun activity. I got my fantasy football draft tonight, so things about sleep activity.
Well, thank you. So he brought up some things that I want you guys to think about, is actually marrying your IT skills with a passion. And so he brought up stuff that he's enjoying on the side and tying it all together. And so he's brought up something that when students say, I don't really know where to look for a job, but I'm into football or whatever. I've gotten people jobs with the PGA because they need people to keep the score on each thing. I've gotten them with the football, the Baltimore Ravens. I think it's Baltimore Ravens. No, it's Washington Redskins back then. And so he went up there and he did all the cabling network for the TV people. And so I've done minor league baseball. I've done even some, the esports that travels around, you watch on TV. I had a girl in here that wanted to set up all those on each site. So she went over to Atlanta, that's where they were based out of, and got the job and started doing that. So marry your passion with your skill. You don't, my roommate, he was an accountant, And I'll tell this story probably over and over, but he loved the Cincinnati Reds, and he would try to break away and see the Reds whenever. And I said, why don't you just apply for a job down there? And really, I forget. So he applied for the accounting job at Cincinnati Reds, and they gave him 4 free tickets to every home game to be their accountant. And he's like, oh my God, never even thought of it. So think about that, okay? I mean, there's these perks that you just don't think about. Zachary Reed.
I find that the sense of public being about, it's pretty much about that. I kind of do, where I work out my my aspiration is probably either to be the child or what else. I feel like we should be like the second one. And then fun fact, not really time.
Oh, what instrument?
I think so.
Oh, another drummer. Hey, Braden Hodges.
Hey there, I'm Braden Hodges. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. Primary citizen. The past few months or whatever, I did really well in the networking database class. Aspiration, not even particularly wanted to do. I mean, networking and databasing would be fun, but I just like doing stuff like hands-on stuff. So anything like that, I really enjoy. Something unique for myself. I built my own computer, so having your network hardware or anything like that,
Well, thank you. And we've all built computers, correct? I got 2 names left, but I want to also say thank you for standing up. I've seen in the past, I don't say stand up, but by standing up, you're confident. Okay, I know so far all of you have done that, and that's wonderful. So continue to be confident and do that. We'll wrap it up. And I know we're just finishing up, but when you come in, network with your other classmates each day and try to figure out things, figure out what we're going to do. Pick up the forms. I'm old school, I hate to say it, but I also keep these out by my office. So if you ever need to go through, you can actually go through all of that as well. To find a job and so forth. Or if you have a friend that says, hey, I'm in computer science, but I need something, you can talk to them and say, come on down. But I'm trying to expand what we have. We may end up maybe one day in Amico Hall with 300 people or something, but this program is really taking off. So just come in, be ready each day. 2 more, James Abram. James. Okay, and Cameron Howard.
Howard from North Charleston, South Carolina. Back where I worked with LCU for the last 2 years in my apprenticeship. 2 years ago, I was at my operation was to be cyber consulting. Because I also do security plus, and my government contracting job got my security clearance. We ended up going back this summer for an apprenticeship under a network engineer to down networking. I got my networking plus, and I'm going to have to keep doing it this winter. Far as the job that I'm doing a network engineer or another product to go after. As far as activities go, I'd say all things.
Golfing's great in sport. I was on the golf team. I was coached the Greenville High School golf team. We played up there all the time. I hope you enjoyed the first day. Basically, come on up and look at the old stuff, the new stuff, talk to me, talk to your classmates. If there's a class out there, we may have to rotate faster on Friday, but I'll see you Friday.